Hey guys, just filming this intro for this video because I don't think I did film one, and it kind of needs an intro. But in today's video, or in this little tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made my Flareon ears inspired by the lovely Jessica Nigri. I will post hers right here, and I realized I did mine a little bit further apart than hers, but they came out really decent. I'm pretty darn proud of myself for them. If you guys want a better look, here's kind of how they look. This was a long process and I got burned a lot while doing this, but I really like them and they're super cute. Now, I don't know if this is the process she used on how to make hers, but this is what I did to get similar ones, and I actually had help from a lot of people on the Cosplay Animo app, and yeah, so these are huge, by the way. Like, look how far out they go, but they're super cute and I really like them. So if you want to see how to get these awesome Flareon ears, or how to do your own, you can use this for any Pokemon really, or just any kind of animal that has ears and you want them to stand up straight, then just keep watching.
Alright guys, so here are all the items that I am going to be using for this, for the ears. First of all, what you're seeing here is the super thick interfacing, which is going to be pretty much the foundation and base to keep them super stiff and everything like that. You can get it anywhere that they sell fabric, and then I'm just going to be using regular interfacing as well. As far as the other materials, I just chose a rope type of gold trimming and then just a regular gold trimming. It's a little bit thinner, but it's folded in half, and I realized if you cut it then you get more. Some rhinestones, E6000 glue. I found this like faux fur for like $1. Fabric of your choice, and you're going to also need a pattern and a headband as well. So those are pretty much the basic materials that you're going to need. I'll write the measurements and everything for the fabrics and stuff down below. The black one is scrap fabric that I had just kind of laying around and that I used for the middle of the ear, so yeah. Alright, so here's the pattern that I just pretty much hand drew, and on it I just kind of drew where I wanted like the rhinestones to go and certain fabric pieces to go, just kind of for personal reference. And the first step is obviously you're going to take your main color that you want to be pretty much the base of your ear, and you're going to cut it out using the pattern, and then you're going to repeat that, doing it on the interfacing, and I just folded it over that way I can get both the pieces all at one time, and you're going to do that for both of the ears. Both of your interfacing and fabric cutouts, it's just time to iron them down. So first just iron one side together, so one part of the fabric interfacing, and then you're going to go ahead and make the sandwich and iron the other one on top of it, and that way everything will be essentially glued together, and then you can cut off any excess fabric where stuff doesn't line up or anything like that. Okay, so here is the super fun part where I burned myself I don't know how many times. I took the regular thinner interfacing and I used my E6000 glue, as you guys will see here, and I put the glue just kind of along the edge of the ears, and then I placed the interfacing along that way it would stay, and then I placed the gold trim on top of that, and then I used my iron to iron everything down. And this was the easiest way for me. I essentially tried to just use glue to do it, and it didn't stay at all. And so this was the best solution that I came up with. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but I couldn't figure out one. And this is just how I did it. Be wary, you will burn your fingers a lot, and it takes a lot of patience and time, but I do like the way it came out, and it just worked really well for me. So I pretty much did that with the trimming all around the ear, including like the little pointed part in the crevices. So yes, burnt fingers were involved, but the turnout of it was amazing. So for some reason I didn't film me actually putting down the middle part of the ear, but I just used a black fabric and I just traced the middle part of it, cut it inside, used the E6000 to glue it down on both sides, and then I'm taking the rope fabric and just placing it around, seeing where I want it to end. And then this part I did glue down because there was no way you could actually iron down the rope kind of trimming, and I held it in its shape so that way the tip would be pointed and it would stay like that. And I held it for about, I don't know, a minute or so just to make sure it stayed, and I did that for both sides for each ear. So this part is optional, but it is something that I noticed when I was looking at her ear. She had kind of a little rectangular piece of fabric that was a different color, kind of like a golden color, placed on the top and bottom and sides of the ears, and then she had rhinestones on either side of them. So I decided to do the same thing. It's really up to you on where you place them because it really just depends on how the ears turn out, but it's also perfect for covering up any imperfections that happen while adding the trimming along the outside of the ear itself. Alrighty, I didn't film myself doing the rhinestones like I thought I did, but I just kind of chose a pattern that I liked, and I stuck with the theme of red and gold, so I chose red and yellow rhinestones to use on the ears. As far as attaching the fur to the headband, I tried hot glue, but it didn't work and it wasn't sticking, so I just went ahead and used my E6000, and I had to hold it in place for a while, but the results, as you will see, are nice. And I also trimmed the fur on the side of the headband, that way there wasn't like a bunch hanging out.
Okay, so as far as attaching the ears, to be quite honest, I just MacGyvered my way through this. I would recommend that before you actually sandwich the pieces of interfacing together, you add some kind of wire or something in there or to the bottom so that it'll make it easier to attach to the headband. What I did was I took the interfacing that I already had, so the thick interfacing, and I just kind of made strips of it, and I glued it down and kind of ironed it down as well, just so that it kind of made somewhat of a stand. And then the fur that I didn't use to cover the headband, I just cut off tops from the top of it. So I kind of like brushed it up, and then I chopped off the rest of it with scissors, and I just glued it down on top. That way the interfacing would be covered, and it just looks like you have looks like it's coming up from the fur instead of seeing a bunch of like random pieces of interfacing and stuff like that. So to me, it doesn't feel stable, and it doesn't really look that stable. So the wire trick would probably work a lot better, but that's how I did it. I really wouldn't recommend it because it was just a lot of work, and I didn't think about the attachment part until I actually got to it, but it worked for me, and this is how it turned out, and this is the finishing product. As you can see how I did with the rhinestones and all of that jazz. And all that's left to do is to put it on and wear it to your heart's delight. So that is how I made my Flareon ears, and I hope you guys like this, and I hope it helps you all out somehow with some cosplay. And I'll see you guys all later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.